Hello. Hello, hello, hello. Now, this is a special little masterclass. Hello, hello, hello. This is a special little masterclass that I have created for anyone who is taking any one of my 3 workshops on TikTok, podcasts, or YouTube. Because I was trying to think about when we're setting up our new channel or a new account. I think it helps sometimes to sort of really get an idea of who we are, what we want to represent, what we're showing, etc. I am not going to go into the in-depths of creating your brand or creating your identity or going into full content and strategy. I feel those are things that you can source later on if you are interested in really growing whatever it is you are building with TikTok, podcasts, or YouTubes. I am not a social media strategist. I am not a brand expert. I am none of those things, but I am someone who over the last few years has created a lot of brands based on using my own intuition, a lot of Google research, and jumping in and out of containers and different sort of learning portals, courses, watching from other people. It's been an accumulation of a lot of things. And yes, there are some clear defined ways that we can, first of all, create a brand and create who we are and who we want to represent and how we're going to present ourselves out there to other people. There is some really great information out there for you to really sort of nut down exactly what you want. There's also some great social media expertise that you can use and different steps you can take and strategies for different results, whether it's building your followers or increasing your views, etc. This class is more of an overview as a spiritual entrepreneur on some of the things you might just want to think about. I know for myself, sort of looking at some of these things, I've created more of a hybrid type approach, which is you could do it like this, or you could do a mix, or you could just randomly flow between the different styles as you go through. And being a spiritual person as well, I know that we do sometimes rely a lot on, I'm getting this information right now, or this is coming through, or now I want to offer this, or this is no longer feeling aligned. So I understand that. So if we can find ways to work within the energy that works best for us, I think that is how we're going to get the results we want. It can be difficult to try and follow the steps of the experts sometimes when we're more intuitive. It can be hard to do things at certain times or to present things in certain ways based on someone else telling us what to do. However, it is nice and helpful to have some of that expertise in the back of our mind so that we can sort of recall on it and use it and alter it to how it's going to benefit us. So we're just going to go through a few of the general topics in relation to what we're going to do or what we might think about before we're creating our channel or our new account, because it might help you sort of really take that nice foundational approach earlier on instead of having to sort of alter the direction of where you're going and who you are and what you're trying to represent along the way. But of course, you can do it any way you want. This is just what I think is something that just may help you. It could be something that you could just keep in the back of your mind. I am also attaching a workbook with this. So, of course, you do not need to use it I used to be someone who used to love workbooks. It's, yes, I get to write stuff down. Ooh, I can't wait. Now it just is like, no, I'm not doing that. So it depends who you are and what you're at. But the workbook's just going to be a little bit more of a reflection on what I'm actually going to talk about in this class, and then possible spaces for you to reflect and answer that if that's how you work. Okay, now I'm just going to get started. I've called it Tune In. Get it? Because we're like creating our own channel or account. So it's like it's themed around tuning into our own frequency and our own vibration of the essence of who we are and the reason why we're actually trying to create an awareness or a presence in these other social media platforms. Okay. And yes, I've done this beautiful presentation. This is the second one I've actually created, which is interesting that I've created another one. Okay, so I've called them stations. These are actually going to be the topics that we're going to tap into a little bit in this class. We're going to be talking about you, your offerings, your message and why, call to action, goals, visions, time currency, your brand, content strategy, hashtags, copy, scheduling, and a wrap up. Now, if you can see that image there on the screen, that's actually something that came through for me as part of the disruptive frequency. And if you're anything like me and you get information and weird stuff for whatever reason and you don't know exactly what it's for or when it's coming or why it's happening, that was one of those things that came through for me. I get a lot of images and sigils or symbols, whatever you want to call them, and they represent an essence of something. Sometimes they will just be for one specific task. It could be a specific container or an idea or business or whatever. This one is currently the symbol for the disruptive frequency, which is just a membership. It's a low-cost membership, and I'm not trying to do a sales plug in the middle of here, but the disruptive frequency is actually something I'm going to really build on as part of this frequency of tuning in and finding out who we really are, because the essence of who I am is now a disruptive frequency. It is something that if you said that to people, they went, oh, that sounds uncomfortable or messy or doesn't really sort of align with my beautiful, flowy, one love spiritualness. But for me, it does. The way that I see the disruptive frequency is us aligning to the truest vibrational frequency of who we are after we've worked on our shadows and done all our healing work and moved through all the things we move through. We start doing things our own way. We no longer follow the steps or the ideas of what everyone else is telling us or what everyone else thinks we should be doing, and we start operating in a way that feels good for us, in a way that feels tuned for us, because we're listening to our own voice, we're listening to our own intuition, we are finding our own truth. And to me, that is a disruptive frequency, because we're disrupting the everyday norm of the sheep world that we live in that is around us, of people just following the line and following everything that everyone else is saying instead of stepping out of that line and becoming their true versions of self. So I just wanted to bring that up, because don't be scared of a disruptive frequency. The disruptive frequency is exactly what you need to get your people into your world. Okay, let's continue. Channels. So these are the channels that we're actually tuning into. If you don't know, if you only know about one of them, or if you're only in one of them at the moment, I have 3 workshops. One's for TikTok, one's for podcasts, and one is for YouTube. So this masterclass has been designed so it is broad enough that we can use it for any of these 3 workshops. If we are working on one of these specifically, obviously on TikTok, we're creating our own account. On YouTube, it's called a channel. So We're broadly talking about channels or accounts, even though we're talking about 3 different platforms. They're just our different channels, if you will. And the reason I use the word channel is not because you are literally creating your own channel, but you are also becoming a channel. Because whatever it is that you are going to promote through any of these workshops or anything else is you channeling yourself, even if it's for pure entertainment, like you just want to jump onto TikTok because you just want to create things as the creator being that you are, or you may want to be on YouTube because you really want to teach people things. Either way, you are channeling information, you are channeling the essence of who you are, and you are able to bring it in and bring it back out, whether it's through any of these 3 creations in the TikToks that you create, in the podcasts that you speak about, or in the YouTube channel videos and whatever else you're doing in there, because you can do posts and things as well. So you are literally becoming a channel in your own channel. So hopefully this is really going to help you to get more in tune with your channel. Oh, I should have put that at the front. Get more in tune with your channel. Okay, that's enough. Stop blabbering. Let's go. Yes, I have a specific page dedicated to me. Hey, I'm Anna. And I'm presenting this masterclass to you. Yes, you can all read. I'm a mother, stepmother, grandmother, widow. And I have quantum leaped through the spiritual world from the light to the dark and all the way out into my own luminescence reality. I am an author and artist and here to create and co-create in this 3D human experience, frequency and design. This is literally all I am about. I'm not going to bore you with my whole spirituality journey. I'm sure you can find out more about that somewhere else. However, it's pretty much summed up in that blurb there. I've been through the whole realm of learning and discovering myself and finding out who I am to end up in a place where I do believe we are just pure frequency, and me being in the purest form of my frequency is in the way that I can create. So that is why I'm presenting these workshops. That's why I'm doing other design work as well, because that's the essence of who I am, and this is what I love doing. And it's really exciting to be able to actually be presenting this masterclass to you, because there is no way, if you had said this to me a year ago, I would have laughed. I was all about the healing journey. A year ago, it was, I'm going to save the world. Everyone, let's work on your beliefs. Let's heal your wounds. Okay. Enough rambling, let's go. Okay, number 1, you. Yes, it's all about you. I approach everything in that whole mind, body, spirit, mind, body, soul aspect, which means even through my healing journey, the discovering of who I am, etc., it wasn't just on one level. It can be very easy for us to follow down one path and think, okay, I need to heal on my soul level. So we're working through your beliefs and your stories and your shadows. Or I'm going to work on my mind and clear some of these thoughts and start reprogramming my subconscious into creating a life that I want. Or my body is showing me where I'm holding things, and now I'm going to work on this so I can release things. And I think we really need to look at all aspects of all different parts of us in order not to just to heal, because that's not what this class is about, in relation to who we are. This might be a little bit in depth, and you could be thinking, but I just want to make a TikTok. Like, why are we talking about this stuff? And I'm just touching on this because I think it's just a little bit more of a deeper thought for you to sort of find that clarity in your message. So when we're looking at the body, the physical body, we can look at the energetic body, the different elements of who we are in this physical form. And I've just written on here, who are you on a physical level? What does your physical presence offer right now or in the future? And what I mean by that, are you physically representing or talking about or offering something physical. You could be someone who is creating one of these new workshops or channels because you're a massage therapist, or you do Reiki, whether it's in person or online. There's just an element to it. Are you using your physical body? Is there something part of your physicalness, of your 3D human, that you are going to be using as the information or the offer or whatever it is that you are going to be portraying out in, TikToks, podcasts, or YouTube? The other thing we can look at is your mind. So this is our little magical brain. What is your experience or expertise that you wish to offer? So that's like, if you were creating these new channels of information, is it because you have gained all this knowledge? Like, you could be someone who's done a lot of studies in a certain field. Like, say you were a herbal remedy healer, and you had learnt all this information about herbs, and you knew that this one helps with this, or this helps with this, or this one works with this. So you were using the knowledge that you have learnt with your brain to be able to give to someone else, to speak or put in videos or talking on your podcast, whatever it is. You were giving that expertise to whoever your listeners are. And the other thing you need to think about is, how is that different to someone else? So if you were that herbal healer or herbal medicine expert, how are you different to others? How is your information about herbs different to other people? The other area we look at is our soul. So the essence of who we are, our non-physical part of our existence, however you want to look at that, whether you are connected to a God or to the universe or to the oneness or whatever it is. Are you expressing things from your soul? Like, to me, that would be something like if you were showing light language to people, or if you were channeling information from other collectors and you were putting that information out there. So in that, though, I have put in there, what are your belief stories and your shadows? How have you healed and how have you helped others? Because based on whatever it is you are offering on a soul level, the information that you are giving to people is where you're at right now. And if you are in this realm of spirituality, there would be a level of healing that you have done to get here. There would be a level of your beliefs and stories and shadows that you have already worked through to get here. And that is why you are now in this position that you want to offer this information or these services to other people. Most people won't tell you to look at anything like that when you're sort of really creating the essence of who you are. But when you start thinking about it, you're really going to start to say, okay, so I've done this with my body and I know this and I want to offer this, or I've learned all this stuff and then I have moved through all this stuff, or I've done all this soul work. And you can really start to build up the true essence of who you are. And I'm not saying you don't already know who you are. You could be 100% already, well, I already know who I am and I know what I'm offering. That's all well and good, but just having that consistent thought of who you are on those levels really brings together the message that you have. And that was something that I found the hardest, was really finding my message, especially as I was going through my healing journey. I kept flipping and flopping through my message because my message kept changing. I kept getting new information or healing new beliefs, and then I'd have a new message, and then this information would come in, and then it would become that. And so it was really hard to get the essence of who I am. But that just sort of helps you to think about it on a few different levels. Okay, offerings. So once we sort of look at who we are, once we understand who we are on those levels, what are you offering? Do you want to just give people information about whatever it is you're embodying, or what your expertise is, or what you want to share or offer others? Do you want to share your truth? Or are you just trying to attract the right people into your world for the things that you offer, or the world around you that you want to create? Because even though we're not doing any social media strategy, I think it can be super important to have an idea of what you want to do. You could be doing all these three things. That's great. But just knowing that what type of things you're offering people helps you when you are creating content. Now, this is more so for TikTok and YouTube. Podcasts, it depends. We'll talk more about that in podcasts, but when you are trying to engage people based on your content, especially TikTok, it is a really good idea to know sort of these three things and what areas you really want to tap into. So offering value or quality. Whatever you're sharing or offering has to be of some value to someone else and has a high level of quality to it. So that means that what you are sharing, if you were creating a video, if you're talking about something, does it offer value to someone else? Is there quality in what you were speaking about? Or is it just something you're creating because you want to create something? I know it can be very easy, especially when you are following some social media strategies, to, I've got to create a TikTok every day, but as a spiritual person, I'm really not feeling it today, so I'm just going to create this stupid, random, weird stuff. And it becomes off-brand, it becomes unaligned, there's no energetics to it, and it hinders your growth and the essence of who you are and the message that you want to get out there, because you are basing your content based on trying to follow a rule. So I believe that whatever you put out has to be of value and some sort of quality. So if I create a video, it's going to be of value. I think it's going to be of value for someone else, even if it's only one person or a billion people. It has to offer some value. However, I will say, if you do go on my TikTok, there are some pretty boring TikToks on there. I'm not going to lie or hide that. Okay, your truth. It has to be your truth. There is no point creating a video talking about something that you don't believe in. It's funny, especially for me, because I went through this whole journey, and it's like, well, everyone's talking about this over here. I could go talk about this over here and really create a following, really get a lot of people on board, because I know about all this stuff, and I've talked about all this stuff, but it doesn't align with me, so I'm not going to. And that can be hard sometimes when you're growing your account and you know that you could talk about something that's more common and more easier for people to digest, but it's not your truth. And the whole essence of being who we are and what we're offering and what we want to share with others is being the most in-tuned level of who we are. And if we're just trying to regurgitate stuff just because we think it's popular or we're going to get the likes, I think that detaches from the essence of our message and what we're actually trying to get out there. Energetic match. That aligns with our own truth and our own value as well. Your offers, thoughts, and ideas will draw in the people who are a current energetic match for it. So what I'm talking about, your offerings, if you are an intuitive person, which you probably are, you know that you will get hits of information of, oh, why don't you do a video of this? Why don't you do a post? Yes, we can do posts in YouTube. Why don't you talk about this on your next podcast? You will get hits of the things that you know you need to do next or you want to do next, because if you are trying to attract certain people, it's that information and those hits that you are getting that are going to align to the people who need to hear it or need to see it. And when we pull away from these three things, we're not aligning to the people that we actually want to get our message to, or the ones that we know our words or offers can help. 3, your message and why. This is going to go in hand with those things we just said. What is your ultimate message? Like, you could be, okay, I am an intuitive healer. I tap into the essence of who you are, and I'm going to heal your wounds. I'm going to work on energetics in your body. I'm going to work on your shadows or your beliefs or your inner child or whatever it is. So if that is something that you wanted to offer, you wanted to talk about, then what's your message? What is your message? Why do you do that? And it's because you believe in whatever you believe in, or you know that if you can heal people in these ways, then these things are going to happen for them, etc. You need to see what your message is. What is the reason you are doing all these things? Why do you want to offer this service? Why do you want to speak about this thing? What is that message that you want the person who's going to receive your information to be? If you found your ideal audience listener, you want them to say, that person talks about this, or that person believes in this, or that person is showing me all about this, or that person offers this. Once you know what your message is and what your ultimate goal is, and it may be more than one, it may be, I want people to heal themselves so that they can grow into better people, or I want people to use these natural remedies so that they're not filling their body with toxins, or whatever it is, because that's going to help you really nut down your content and really have a look at how you want to target your message and how you want to offer it out there. What is your ultimate message to the people who will be watching, listening, or purchasing from you? Why do you have this offer or offers or message for others? Why do you want to share yourself with others? What is your ultimate goal? Is it business, personal, or metaphysical? And if you are using a have to energy anywhere, it's not the right energy. And what I mean by that is, I have to be on podcasts because that's where everyone else is. No, you don't have to do anything. So if you do find those words creeping into your words anywhere, get rid of them. That's not what you want. Okay, number 4, call to action. If you don't know what that means, that's what all the people who know what they're doing use. It's the CTA, the call to action, which means when you are doing a post, a video, whatever it is, and you are offering it to other people and engaging with other people, there's normally a call to action. What that means is you want the people who are listening to whatever it is you are putting out there, you want them to do something. Social media people talk about this as this is their response to what you are doing. So if you did this post, and at the bottom of it, you could put, I move through this, blah, 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 blah. Follow me over here. Subscribe to my account. Join my group. Get my freebie. Buy my stuff. That's your call to action. Not a social media strategist. I have put 3 different sort of ways or progressions that I think is a good way to sort of look at how you're putting yourself out there. So I've narrowed it down into 3 steps, which is like a date, a sleepover, and moving in. So at first, just remember, if people are seeing you for the first time, it's like dating. People need to get to know you. Who are you? What do you have to offer? What do you like doing? TikTok is a great space for you to show all aspects of yourself. It can allow you to really highlight not just the business side, like if you're using TikTok to promote what you do, you can also highlight your funny side or your family side or what it's like living where you live or in your suburb or in your country. So you can really sort of mix up your content in a way that is like a date. So if you were on a date and you were meeting someone, you would be giving them all different aspects of you. So when you first met them, it's, this is what I do, this is what I look like. But then as you started to go on more and more dates, they go, she's got 3 dogs. Oh, she's got 8 children. Or, oh, she really likes doing this. One of her hobbies is actually this. So dating is, I feel TikTok is the dating social media platform where it is a space for us to really let people get to know you on a level that they might not find in other places. Once you're able to give information on who you are, it's a sleepover. You're going to give a taste of what it's going to be like, because you know what it's like before you meet someone and before you move in together, you've got to try it out, right? So you can either do camping, because we all know what happens if you do camping when you're first getting to know someone. But a sleepover is like, okay, here's a taste of what it would be like. So this could be where you are offering something. It could be something small, or you could be asking them to do something. It could be where, you may have done a lot of the dating stuff where you're giving them a lot of information, but now you're asking them to, buy you coffee on the way over to a house or something, which could be like, oh, why don't you follow me over here? Or you could be saying, oh, comment what you think about this thing that I was just saying, or here, sign up to my email list and get this freebie. So that's like a step up from showing people who you are. That's asking people to do something. They're really getting a taste of what you have to offer and what you really want to talk about, or what your message is. It's also like the dating to sleepover can also be like, well, the dating's testing the water and introducing a smaller topic. So if you wanted to talk about a really big or in-depth topic, or something that you want a lot of people to hear, if you were just starting on any of these platforms, sometimes it might work in your favor if you just started talking about the lighter things, or the foundations of the big things you want to talk about, or the more in-depth things, so that you can start to build that audience up. So when you start really speaking about the big topics, or your big offers, or your big ideas, or your big instructions, you already have that following in there, or some people already in there. So you can really make sure that there's more people who are able to hear your message, or whatever it is next that you are offering to others. Then, of course, after that, it's the move in. So once you two are like besties, you can move in, right? And that is when you start having those followers that are liking all your stuff. They're commenting on all your stuff. They're buying all your stuff. They're sharing all your stuff. That's the move in, and that's when you two are a match. And once you find the people like that, they're going to stay in your world as long as they're currently energetic match to you. And as you know, that could be forever, that could be for 5 minutes. So it's just a fun way to think about the ways that you are offering your content, and how you can sort of see the progression, because sometimes people won't adhere to you straight away. However, I still believe there is some people that when we put out the right thing at the right time, we are perfectly going to match to the exact personal response that we're aiming for, because we have been intuitively aligned with the message that we're giving. This is, of course, just a guide. You can do whatever you want, but especially if you have a brand new account, it's a good way to sort of test things as well, to really start to build up that momentum in whatever social media platform you're using. Okay, goals and visions. Now, I put this on here. This isn't everything that happens across these different workshops, but do you want more likes? Do you want more followers? Do you want people to subscribe to you? Do you want people to buy things from you, whether it's a product or a service or a course or whatever it is? Do you want lots of views? Do you want people to react to your content? The goals and visions I am talking about here is your goals and visions for whatever this new social media platform is going to do for you. On TikTok, do you want more likes, followers, or views? As you get into these different platforms, depending which ones you are currently using or expanding into, there's different ways to monitor your growth. Or you may just look at all these things and go, nah, none of that, because if your mission is to just get content out there and you're intending that the right people are going to see it at the right time, etc., you're not going to worry about these numbers. I know for me in the beginning, and even if you look at any of my social media, you will see the numbers are low, and people, of course, would look at that and go, oh, she's really crap at what she's doing. I mean, look at those numbers. But I'm the type of person who would prefer to have someone who actually wants to follow me, subscribe me, watch me, like me, because they like what I'm doing. Over in other platforms, we won't mention names, but there is such a world where it's, oh my God, because we're all in the same thing together and we're all friends, we're just going to have to like each other's posts, even if we don't like it or not, or we're going to comment on them and go, oh my God, that's so amazing on every single post, so we can increase the algorithm, blah, 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 blah. They're not my clients. They're not my people. They're not my energetic matches. I don't want the people who are just liking for like's sakes. I want the people who are truly interested in what I have to say, my message, my offer, my vision, and they are going to be a lot lower numbers than what other people are getting in their areas. So, but if you are someone who just wants to get a lot of likes, you want a lot of people to start seeing your feed, then you understand that is your goal. And you can create your content and work towards getting those results. So you may not even also know what any of this means and think, well, I don't know what I want. And that's fine. You don't need to know that. Even when you start looking at some of these other social media platforms, you will get to see how they all operate a little bit differently. And if you're over in this one, you're really noticing likes or views. And over in this one, like you look at podcasts, like people can answer questions, you can do polls and things like that, but there's no like button. There's no people commenting and writing all this stuff or giving feedback all the time. So there's other ways to gauge engagement in that way. So it's just something you can think about. Do you want this? Do you want that? Or something you can think about later on, or something you can just go, who cares? Okay, next. Time currency. Now I'll put those two words together. Time is a currency. It's one of the most valuable pieces of currency we have in our life is time. Even when we look at it, the concept of time is not real and it's just a construct of our mind. Regardless, this 3D human does have to succumb to the elements of time. And what I mean by time currency, so when you are embarking on new social media platforms for whatever reason, you have to factor in the essence of time. There is a time of setting up. There is a time of creation. There is a time of doing the things you want to do in there. Everything is relative to time, even if it's just something that you're doing for fun and you're on TikTok because you just want to make funny videos, or if you're on YouTube because you want to grow your business. There is an element of time that is going to be attached to those ideas and goals because you need to do something to put on those new platforms. You can, yes, get really good at being able to cross-post through different media. Like creating a TikTok, you can then use it as a reel, a Facebook reel, an Insta reel, a YouTube short. You can put it across different media. You can create a YouTube video. You can cut it up into shorts. You can create a YouTube video and then use the audio from that in your podcast. Yes, there are many ways that you can make things work better for you, but you do need to understand there is a time currency attached to whatever these new platforms you are embarking on, especially in the beginning. If you are setting up, it does take some time. Hence the reason I created these workshops, to try and help you avoid a lot of the time wasted I spent on on doing things and trying things and learning things and not knowing how to do things and doing things the longest way possible. I've done that a lot. And that's the whole reason people do offers like this, is so that they can, really give you back some time by giving you some shortcuts and some ways for you to get into these new things you want without having to do it the hard way. So really think about how much time you want to spend on creating content, on even responding to people. So you could be someone who blows up quite quick, and the information that you give out, everyone's like, oh my goodness, I want to know more. I want to know more. So you may get inundated with comments or messages or interaction from people on your social media accounts. And you'll have to factor that in as well, not just creating content and, planning out or working out what you're actually going to create or what you're going to do or how you're going to do it. You do need to have that as some sort of factor in creating your new social media platform. Okay, your brand. We are not doing a brand identity, and I'll be honest, I have no experience in creating your own brand. This list of things is just a list that I put together of things I've thought of when I've tried to create my own brand. I'm using air quotes because I'm using the term lightly. To me, the brand was, how am I feeling right now? How do I represent that in words and pictures and my voice? That's literally how I perceive my brand. So when you're embarking on these new platforms, and of course, all this stuff can change whenever you want, you do need to think about your name. There is expert opinion if you follow the way to do it properly route of your brand is your name. And I went down that path for a little while, and I have 5 different names now. I have different brand companies, and this is for this and this is for that. I no longer follow the mold of what you're supposed to be doing. It's all part of the disruptive frequency, remember. But when you're setting up your new channel or account or whatever it is, think about, do you want your name or do you want your business name? Do you want a cool name? Do you want something else? Do you want a name that can be used across all platforms? So if you were using more than one social media platform, do you want to be able to do the at blah, blah, blah in Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok and YouTube? That's why I had to put the dark lumina in front of mine, because someone else had, I think they had dark lumina in Instagram, I think it was, and I couldn't do the same across all, and I wanted them all to be the same. So, but that's taken me 3 years to get here. I've changed so many times and still have some remnants of the others that I use for other things. But you can think about that. You can change it later. So it's not like we're going to lock it down. Even if you're doing like a website and stuff, are you going to use that name? So if it was like a whole new brand and you decided I wanted to be, the rock star alchemist, and I wanted to create this whole world with that name, then I would look up if the domain was available, if that's what you wanted to grow into. Is it on Insta, if that's what you were going to use, Facebook, TikTok, and check all those areas to see if you can use it, if it's taken anywhere else, if that's how you wanted to grow, so that you could sort of reserve them all now and then have them all as all these perfect little social media names that are all exactly the same down the track. Then, of course, with your name comes your logo. Do you even need a logo? If you're just creating TikTok based on your account, you don't need any of this crap. But I just want to mention it in case you are anticipating on growth or you're trying to build an actual company or an identity under your name or a different name. Slogan. To me, slogan is the words under your business name. So, like if you were called Futuristic Creations, and then your logo would be creating your future in creation or something. That was really bad. But you know what I mean? That's the logo. You don't even need that. A bio. Bio is something that you will need for TikTok, podcasts, and YouTube. Of course, they're all space related. If you use Instagram, you know how short bios are. TikTok is the same. YouTube, you have heaps of room. You also have a trailer. And podcasts, you have a little bit of room, but you can add more about you at the bottom of the content or the text you write with each podcast. So setting up a bio really just highlights who you are. So you may need different versions of that if you're doing different social media outlets. Colors. Do you want certain colors for who you are? Do you want to always be known as the person that uses pink and black or something? Website. Are you setting up a website? Do you want to link all these things to your website? Then you've got to think about all the other platforms. Do you want to look the same photo across all the other platforms? You could set up a whole media kit so that if you got someone to do your own graphic design and you said, okay, I'm using Facebook, podcasts, and YouTube. They're my 3 channels. You could set up your own media kit with your own bios, information about who you are, what your goals were, blah, 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 as well as the actual graphics in the right sizes for those platforms. Photos, that's the same thing. Are there stock photos that you want to use all the time, or ones that you use for your business? Intros, outros, and trailers. So you can have a trailer on your YouTube and on your podcast. You can also do highlights and videos on TikTok, intros and outros, like on a YouTube video at the beginning and the end of your long form videos, or on podcasts, your beginning and end of your podcast links. Like an Instagram, if you don't have a website, you can link other things that you want people to look at in something like Linktree or something like that. Do you want to have affiliates or referrals to other things? So if you're in a social media platform, do you want to link it to, I don't know, Amazon affiliate because there's a book that you read and you wanted to speak about that? You could become an Amazon affiliate. Do you want to have that in the setup of your TikTok name? So there's so many different things you can think about. And of course, you do not need all of this just to start, but you could go on forever and ever about how much there actually is, but they are things depending on where you are and what you wanted to do and how you wanted to grow, that you can keep at the back of the mind that you could think about right now, because there's nothing worse than if you started with, you know, the futuristic creator as your TikTok name, and then it grew really big, and then you got this great idea to do this stuff you were going to sell, and then you went to set yourself up on Instagram as well, and that username was gone, and you had to use an underscore or a dot, and you're like, poo. You know what I mean? So it's just something you can think about. If that's your goal, if it's not, who cares? These are all just things that you can just keep in the back of your mind for later on. And if you do want to create a whole brand identity, if that's something you want to go into, that is not something I do. I have no experience in, but I do know people who can help you. Okay, let's talk about content. What is content? I'm sorry, I don't know why I'm singing. Okay, so content is the actual stuff what you're giving people. So content is your actual podcast. Content is your videos on YouTube. Content is the videos on TikTok. What type of content are you going to create? Is it going to be funny? Is it going to be informative? Do you want to talk about statistics? Do you want to just share experiences? Do you want to teach people things based on your own expertise? Or are you going to mix it up? Or could you do 2 of those things? There's no right way or wrong way, unless you go to a social media expert and they will particularly tell you how to do things. But there are different ideas that you can look at how to create your content. I am someone who would like to do a bit of all of that. oh, this is funny. I might create a TikTok where this happened like the other day and I didn't do it. And I wish I had to film some footage. But I had a rental car, and I'm not kidding. I spent 10 minutes looking on how to release the fuel cap. And I'm a car enthusiast. I grew up around cars. I know my way around cars. This was so embarrassing. And I'm at the service station and I'm like, where the hell is the gas lever? And then I'm on Google. I'm looking under the seat, looking everywhere, looking at these buttons, looking at all these, and on Google, it's on the left-hand side of the seat. No, that was America. Our seats are on the right-hand side. I was looking everywhere, and I went, this is so embarrassing, and there is no way I'm asking anyone for help, because it'd be, oh, look at this stupid girl, no idea how a car works. But anyway, and then, of course, it dawned on me. What if it's one of those ones that you just push on? Oh, I went over and pushed it. Pop. And you're like, how embarrassing. But see, that sort of thing would have made a funny TikTok. So once you start creating this content, your mind will start juicing into these ideas of when you're doing things or thinking about things or learning things. It's like, oh, that would make a great podcast. I'm going to write that down. Write stuff down. Honestly, if you're anything like me, write stuff down. Here's a quick tip. Doesn't matter where you are, you will normally have your phone. Send a message to yourself somewhere if you think of great ideas. So you can always be thinking about content, or you can create a actual scheduled content. So if you were like, I'm doing a YouTube series and I'm going to teach people how to grow particular plants, you could say, I'm going to do this video, and this video. This is going to go through this, and this. Of course, that is a different type of content. But it's just great to know about it. I've also written down here the 4 E's. You may hear this from many experts out there, is try and make your content something where you can educate, empower, entertain, and engage. So obviously educate is where you're teaching them something about, what your passion is or what you have to offer. You're going to empower them. You're going to tell them, yeah, you can do this, or yes, this is amazing, or blah, 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 blah. Entertainment, do something funny like my fuel cap incidents. And engage, which is something where you want them to do something like, how many times has this happened to you, and ask them for a response type thing. So that is just some information on content. Of course, if you want to learn more, you can get so many social media strategists out there, and there's also a lot of free information. But once you start using these platforms, you will really start to get to find what you like and what you don't like, which moves us into strategy. This is going to be a flow on from the content, is how you're going to strategically plan out the way that you are going to present the information on these platforms. So I've just put in there, you can do a plan, random, or mix, obviously. So planning was where I was just talking before about on if you were using YouTube or something where you would set down and strategically plan, okay, I'm going to do these 3 videos. You can even do it on TikTok. Even if you're doing TikTok fun videos, you could create a whole stack of them one day when you're in full creative mode and go, okay, I'm going to do this one on Monday, this one on Wednesday, this one on Friday, etc. Or you can just be someone who wakes up and goes, I'm going to create this today. Okay, I'm going to put it on here, here, and here. Or you can just mix. So you can say, even if I don't get anything magically intuitive coming in for me on, 3 days, I still have these drafts or these ideas that I've created over here that I'm going to put in on these days, or the days that I don't feel like creating, or if it's been a few days since I posted something, I can use this content here. So strategy is up to you. You can be as formal or informal as you want. I will put some links in here of some things that may be able to help you in ways to plan and create your content. I will, however, say the number one key to any platform is consistency. regardless whether we like the algorithms or not, or work on I'm going to do what I want when it intuitively comes in type attitude. The algorithm will not favor you if your consistency is off. Trust me, I know, because I am one of those people who is not consistent and I just follow my own intuition. Hashtags and copy. Sorry, I've sung that topic again. I don't know why. I apologize. Hashtags are an important part of social media if you're trying to reach your own type of people. There are many resources where you can find trending, common, or niche-related hashtags. And I've written here, I also create new ones so I can find my content online. So sometimes I'll think of a random group of words that I want to use as a hashtag, and they will make sense to me. No one will be looking for them. And I add them to my content in the hope that it eventually becomes something that has more of a substance and more of a use to it. So, for instance, I've only recently started using disruptive frequency in some of my posts. Just out of curiosity, I typed that into Google. Do you know what came up? My social media from, I think it was TikTok, YouTube. I can't remember if there was Facebook stuff, but I was like, cool. So imagine if you started using the hashtag, your business name, or the message, or the slogan, or whatever it was, to be able to start finding things that were yours and yours only. And no social media strategist is going to tell you to do that, I'm pretty sure. But that is something that, if you look at my hashtags, I swear to God, 9 out of 10 of them are made up. I don't, but you should. You can do whatever you want. Creating hashtags is what helps your algorithm, helps your content to be seen in front of the right people. So especially on TikTok and, other social media platforms that we use, those hashtags can be quite important. There are some general rules. Obviously, the ones that have billions of posts, your content would probably get lost in those bigger hashtags when you're coming up against some big creators. That's why if you try and use ones with a lesser sort of viewing numbers, you may have a better chance of being seen. It does help, though, for apps and social media platforms to really understand the message or the people that you were trying to attract. So if you did hashtag spiritual entrepreneur, they go, okay, she wants spiritual entrepreneur people, or people who have typed that in or used that in their words or their content or have looked it up, or etc. There's probably so many different rules on how to use hashtags. I am not an expert. There are a lot of free places online to generate hashtags based on using a common word. You can look up hashtags and look at a view. There's so many different strategies. If you follow any social media people, search in YouTube, search on Google, you will find so many different ways you can use them. But there is a level of importance to them if you want your content to be shown in front of the right people. I've also added copy in here. So when I mean copy, I mean the copy is those words. So on TikTok, it would be those words you write that come up at the bottom of your video. In podcasts, it will be the blurb that is relative to your current podcast audio. And in YouTube, your copy is all that space that you have below the video. With shorts, I don't think you have as much space, and I don't think it's as beneficial with many hashtags as like you may be used to if you were using Instagram. So the copy is going to contain the information or the words that you want to describe or reflect more of whatever your video or your audio is about. So it can also contain call to actions in there. It can contain links to other things. This is more so in YouTube or podcasts. In TikTok, it would be more of a summary or maybe a recap or just the same information that you could be speaking about if you were doing like a talking video on TikTok. It's just going to help that SEO for searching when people are looking for the things that you are actually talking about. Of course, like I've said 1,000 times already, find the experts if you want to know more about that. I just gather bits of information and then sort of adapt it to myself. I do not follow any strategies. I mix up my hashtags. I keep reusing certain ones. It's just random. I have no actual plan on how I do that, but there is a lot of good information out there if that was something that you really wanted to make sure was nutted down. It's so hard for me to talk about creating these social media platforms because obviously you want to be successful, but at the same time, I still have that pure belief in our own power and our own intuition and our own knowing what is best. But I think the best course of action is to be able to mix them both together. So getting some of that logic, some of that strategy, some of those foundational pieces mixed with that level of intuition that we receive and the things that feel good for us and that feel like something that we really want to do is going to be the best way as a spiritual entrepreneur that we can really promote ourselves on these social media platforms. I do not believe that there is a set plan that I can give you and say, follow all these steps, A, B, and C, and you will be viral and everyone will be following you and buying your stuff. I will never, ever be able to do that. And I don't think anyone actually can. Yes, there are probably proven steps and strategies to do things in order to create the outcomes that you are desiring. However, it depends what your outcome is, what your message is, who you are, what your truth is, etc., etc. So just use all of this as a little bit of background sort of things to help you and to do more research and get more help if they are the routes you really want to go down. Okay, getting close to the end here. We nearly made it. Scheduling. Now, there's so many different ways you can schedule, and let me tell you, I've tried so many. So depending on what type of person you are, you can go down the route of using apps. There's a lot of great apps, free apps. There's a lot of great programs, paid and unpaid. There are spreadsheets you can use. There's a good old piece of paper. I actually even found an old, I don't even know if you can see this, but it's a weekly planner. like it's literally, I don't know if you can see this, but I don't even know where I got it from. I think I've had it for 1,000 years and it's like these tear off pages. It's like days of the week. I have used them. The problem is for me, I can be very good at setting stuff up on a spreadsheet. I can be very good setting stuff in my calendar, in an app, writing things down, writing them on my whiteboard, etc. I go, yeah, look at me. I've got all this stuff scheduled and organized. Yes, 2 days in, crickets. I don't follow it. Doesn't happen because it's just not who I am. I can't consistently follow that plan unless it was something that I was fully locked into, because it doesn't always feel good to be so locked into certain scheduling. I use a mix now of writing things down. Could be in a notebook, could be on a whiteboard, could be in my calendar. It could be scheduled through a third-party schedule. Like if I was doing Facebook or Instagram, I could be using, the Meta Business Suite. I have used other scheduling apps like Metricool and Hootsuite and things like that, and done schedule posts. I have done that. Try them all. See what feels good for you. Do a mix of them all. There's no right or wrong way, but being aware of the help that is out there, if that's what you want, it's there. If you want to be someone who just wants to write it down and has a diary and says, okay, this week on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday on TikTok, I'm going to be talking about, pencils. And you could write that down and just follow that. Or you could be as meticulous as, okay, I'm creating this video today. I'm going to put it on Facebook Reels today. I'm doing it on TikTok tomorrow. And then on Wednesday, it's going into Instagram Reels. I've got my copy for it. I'm going to try these hashtags over here and over here. And then I might repost this again in 4 months, depending on how many views and how many likes, etc. Or if you're creating podcasts, it could be like, okay, like that one you can plan a little bit more, because it could be, I'm going to do a podcast where I interview people. I want to interview people who've spoken about their healing journeys. So you could schedule that up and say, so every Tuesday morning I record podcasts. I'm going to, open the floor up to people, come and schedule your meeting with me so we can have a chat, and that can be fully booked in. Or you could be someone that says, okay, next week I'm just doing podcast after podcast. I'm going to record them all now, and then I'm going to schedule them for the next 2 months. So there are some benefits to scheduling depending on who you are, what you are offering, what works for you. But know there is a lot of help out there. It doesn't have to be hard. And if you are finding yourself spending more time scheduling than doing and creating, then that is something that you need to look at. I myself was someone who, when I scheduled things, I had them across, I think I had it in my Apple Calendar on my phone. Then I had to add it to Google Calendar because I have iCloud and Google Drive. But then I also had to put it on my whiteboard so I knew what was coming up. But then I also had to put it on my spreadsheet, depending on what business it was for. But then I also had to put it on Trello so I knew what I was doing. But then I also needed to write it down because I like writing down. I would spend half my day writing down the same crap, and it was a waste of time. And let's be honest, it was just a level of procrastination on my part. So just know there is more help out there, and if you're spending too much time on it, find another way. Reach out, let me know. I can give you some places to go to get the help you need there. Okay, so we are up to the last station, the wrap up. So I just wanted to wrap up quickly with these 3 different workshops and the way that we've sort of spoken about all the things that we were speaking about and how they sort of relate to these different social media platforms. So we started off talking about who we were in relation to our mind, body, and soul, what our message is, what are we using these platforms for, how do we want people to respond, how are we going to create our content, what type of content, what strategy are we going to use, and working out hashtag scheduling, etc. Now with TikTok is obviously a short video format. You can do face on camera, you can create your own videos, so you can have SEO with your words on the screen and in the copy below. TikTok is what I think is where we are dating. This is the place that we are showing people who we are. It's not a place, this is my opinion, where we consistently just go in there and sell stuff. Oh, I have this. Oh, I have that. Oh, I have this. It's no, this is who I am. This is what I have to offer. This is what I believe in, blah, blah, blah. Podcasts, to me, this is more of really getting your message out using your voice. What your beliefs are, what you want to share with people, your experiences. If you're someone who's going to be doing interviews, it's because you wanted to create awareness to a certain topic or a certain idea or situations or ways of being. Podcast is obviously audio. I know they are now moving to some video podcasting now. You can use the text box that goes with podcasts to create and solidify your message, as well as to promote and ask people to follow you in other places. And you can get a really good following on that based on your topic and the things you talk about. You can also use those podcasts as a CTA in your actual episode. So at the end, if you were talking about something that is relative to something you are offering or you want people to purchase, you can talk about that at any time during a podcast, not just in the copy below. With YouTube, like, come on, YouTube's been around forever. You can do anything with the shorts. You can use your short form videos if you're using TikTok or Reels in other places. But then, of course, you have the long video format. So the videos where you can actually teach things or show people things or tell people things in more of a longer scale and not rush, give me the information now type thing. And then you have all that space in your text box to speak more about what it is that your video was about, as well as call to actions, follow me in other places. And you can also add things on screen. There are certain things you can unlock with YouTube as you get enough following, like with TikTok and TikTok Lives and YouTube. You can start doing subscriptions, get a paid subscription service in there. You can also link other videos in your videos so you can cross promote, etc. So those three social media platforms are really good depending on what you are wanting to do and what works for you and how you want to get your message out and to who and to how and what your goals are. The rest of the stuff will just come in as it needs to, because as intuitive people, we know that we can't do it wrong. We're always doing the right thing at the right time. And if you are listening to this, then this has been your next step, whether you go on to not doing anything with these platforms and just sort of dabbling in them a little bit, or whether you're growing them into something huge. It doesn't matter. This has been something that hopefully has helped you a little bit right now in the process of setting up who you are for these platforms before you sort of get into there and as you're in that introduction type status. There will be a workbook around here somewhere to help you just sort of get this on paper a little bit and give you more of an in-depth insight to maybe some of the things that you could look at when you are setting yourself up in these areas. Of course, like I've said, if you want further information with either brand creation or social media strategies, reach out and I can refer you to people, places, apps, and tools, books, etc. that may help you along the way. But that is it for the Tune In Masterclass. The next slide is just going to be about my current offers. So you can switch off now if you're not interested. Apart from doing these workshops, I do social media design as well. And I don't do the off-the-shelf, like everyone else type design. I try to utilize my own unique vibrational frequency and connection to whatever else is out there and who I am at my core to bring you the graphic that's going to match whatever your intention is with the offer or product or brand or whatever it is that you are trying to promote. So I do offer a month of design at a set price where I will do all your creative social media designs like posts and videos. There are limits on the amounts and stuff. I can give you more information on that if you're interested. I do have an intro offer, which is a low cost one graphic if you wanted something for a specific project or purpose, and I can give that to you in different formats. And then Course Creator is really quite fun. If you are someone who's been on other media platforms or in other areas and you have already created so much content, whether it was free, whether it was paid, of videos, workbooks, audios, posts, whatever the information is, if you give that to me, we can create a course from it. And then that is something that you can sell as a standalone or an ongoing or whatever it is that you want to do. I can pull out all the bits. We can make it look pretty. We can add workbooks. If it's videos, we can, add intros and outros and join and cut bits out and add bits in and really create something that you can then package up and sell. Because if you're someone who's been speaking for a while, you may already have all this amazing information out there that can help someone else. So why not just put it together and sell it as something for someone else to purchase? So they are some of the things that I currently have on offer. Of course, I'm always open to any other ideas that you have or anything else that you may need assistance with. Of course, if I started talking about all the things that I offer, we'd be here forever. Boring. Okay, and we're on the thank you page, and I've just put up there my contact details for TikTok, YouTube, and podcast, because that is the workshops we are doing. If you have not followed me on there, you're welcome to. Of course, you do not have to. Definitely do not have to, but it is there. I just want to thank you for watching this super masterclass, and in whatever workshop you're in, whether it's TikTok, podcast, or YouTube, I'm really looking forward to seeing your new creations. I would definitely be following you and watching and listening and seeing what you're actually going to create. If you have any questions or any other ideas, problems, stories, reflections, just reach out and let me know. And yeah, good luck, guys. Get creating. And really, the essence of this whole masterclass was for you to tune in to your own frequency.